Hi guys, hope you all are doing well. So I thought to start make a video on Python. So whatever experience I have gathered throughout the years, 2, 3 years. So I have seen people writing some code that works perfectly fine, but it is not the efficient way or the proper way of doing things. So those things may be very obvious, but those are not the correct way. So I thought to make 2, 3 videos. So today is the first video to show you what is the proper way of doing the things. So today the thing that we'll be showing is basically related to list. So suppose you have a list, let's call it L, and suppose there are 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have another list. Suppose there are 6 and 7 are there. Now, what you want to do, you want to basically add all the elements in another list into the list L. So the final list will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I have seen people writing code like L equals to L plus another list, and it actually works fine. As you can see, the output is correct, but this is not the right way of adding list elements or any sort of iterable to a list. So let's call it a wrong way. Now we will ask what is the proper way. So the right way is, there is a method inside the list class called extend, like append. So you should ask if we can use this sort of thing, why there is a dedicated method. So that's why they have provided, because a list is a mutable data type. So you can basically change the original data structure. So let's use this method, just extend. So let's reinitialize them. Now it actually changes the original list, so we don't have to do reassign them, because it actually returns none, because it actually mutates the original list. So if we do L dot extend another list, and if we see L, you can see uh, these elements are added. So this is the right way one. There is another way. Let's show that also. So there is a plus equals to operator. Let's reinitialize them again. And again, you can see the result is same. Now you might ask, okay, what is the difference between plus equals to and L equals to L plus something? So in mathematical term, they're same, but in Python, those operators are actually different. They under the hood, there are different methods that are getting called. So one is add and one is I add. So let me do one thing. Let me write out custom list class to see which methods are getting called. Then we can maybe it will be much more clear. So let's create a custom list and let's inherit from list. Now let's first override the extend method, and I don't know the parameters, so let's take all of them, whatever there can be, all the args and keywords. And since it actually changes the original list, it returns none. So like we can add are inside extend, then we can just return whatever the super does dot extend. So this is nothing but we are just adding one print statement so that whenever there's an extend call, we'll be able to know. And then we are doing whatever the original list class does. So instead of this, if we write like custom, so custom list can take any sort of iterable and it will generate a list. So L, you can see this is a list. And this in type of L is a custom list. Okay, now if you do this L dot extend, so this method is getting called. So you can see we are inside extend. So similarly, let me do add and I add. So there is a magic method called add, which is responsible for this addition. So we are inside add, and we have to call add. And for the third one, it is called I add, that is plus equals to I add. So we are inside I add, and we have to call I add. Yeah. So now if we do this one, L equals to L plus one, you can see we are inside add. Now if we do L equals to extend, uh, okay, I think okay, let's reinitialize it. Okay, we are inside extend, and again this plus equals to we are inside I add. So you can see for three of the operations, uh, plus, extend, and plus equals to, there are three methods, different methods are getting called for the list. So what Python does, if you do some statement like a is equal to plus equals to 1, so Python first checks if that like this object has this I add method written or not. So if there is a I add method, it calls that method for this object. If the I add method is not there, not implemented, it actually uses the add method. So then the statement will be similar to a is equal to a plus 1. But if this method is, for example, I mean, you write a class where this plus equals to and the plus are not same. You might write some class, right? So then this I add method will not be same as plus L equals to L plus something. So that's how the list class written. So those add and I add are separately treated and they are different. Now we'll discuss basically why they are different. So to go there, so I want to tell a little bit about list. So list, you can see it's a dynamic type, right? So the memories are added dynamically. So suppose you have a list like 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happens is what Python does is behind the scene there are actually empty spaces. We don't see that, but we only see there are four elements. So when you are actually adding some elements, these gets filled in those empty spaces. And when you suppose you hit a threshold, suppose there are only one slot left, what Python does, it will generate a list of, for example, two times the first length of the size. So it can be, I mean, it may not be the twice of the initial size. I'm just giving you an example. It can be n times the initial size. So it actually creates one another new list with double the size, for example, and it copies those elements, and there will be like those empty spaces will be there. So that's actually how list works. So that's how actually when you are appending some elements, it actually filling those places. So this is the same list that behind the scene is there, and we are just so if you want to add the 6 and 7, you can simply fill those gaps. So what is the issue with this method? So the issue with this method, let me print the IDs. So ID of L and ID of L. Okay, I need to print it. So you can see those IDs are different, and I am using C Python. So these are the memory locations. So what happens is we have the original list L with the memory location ending with 256. Right. Now when you are doing L equals to L plus another list, what is Python doing? It is creating a brand new list with a memory address ending with 840, and it actually filling the new list with the elements of the given two list L and another list. So this list ending with 840 is nothing but a new brand new list. You have to like keep this in mind. It's a brand new list, and it is getting filled with the elements of your L and another list. So you can understand right now that creating a brand new list and copying those elements is a very wastage of computation and resource, right? So it is a like time taking procedure. So if you want to add basically the original list, but here you are unknowingly creating a brand new list. So similarly, same thing. If we print for extend, let me reinitialize it. You can see these memory locations are same. So that's why the extend method is provided. So what it is doing, it is basically mutating the original list. You have the original list. It is basically adding those 6 and 7 inside the original L. So similarly, if we print class equals to, you can see here also those memory addresses are same. So plus equals to this I add operation. Python programmers who wrote this list class, they were intelligent. They thought this plus equals to should not create a brand new list. It will be a wastage of resources and time, right? So that's why the original list is getting mutated. So that's enough of talking. The final thing I want to do a time check. So let's suppose we have a very big list. Uh, let's suppose there are 10,000 elements, and we have another list. There are suppose 100 elements. So the final list should have 10,000 and 100 elements. So let's import the time module. T1 equals to time. Now, what you want to do? You want to L equals to L plus another list. You want to print the length of L. Now T2 into time. So the time took T2 minus T1 seconds. So let's run it. I think this list size is too small, so let me increase it. Okay, still okay. Let me make it much more bigger. Maybe I think it should work now. Okay, now it is taking too much time. Uh, okay, I think this is too much big list. So let me decrease the size a little bit. Yeah, it is taking some point. 0.032 seconds. So let me try the same thing. Let me reinitialize them again. And you can see it has happened, like it worked properly. Now in that case, we'll use the extend method. Now you can see like right away we got the results, and this is much more faster, like 3 times you can see. And this will be very bigger problem when you have a very big list. So then this method will take a much more longer time. So in that case, we'll do else class equals to another list. Let me reinitialize the list and try it again. And those like time are almost same. So you can see this extend method and I add and extend methods are all working almost similarly. They are kind of similar. So what I'm trying to say, never ever use L equals to L plus another list when you are want to add two lists together. Never use that. Always use the extend method or this plus equals to. Never use L equals to L plus some other list. So that is for today. I hope you liked. Thank you.